A lot of business owners, they have all of these different strategies in their life, but they don't know for sure. They don't feel confident that it's all working together. And it was a big part of why I started Infinite Heights too and working with business owners. I feel like there's a lot of advisors who do personal wealth, and then there's advisors on the business side who manage business finances. And that there really felt like there was a disconnect between somebody who could come in and say, like, I understand that you as a business owner, you are the business and everything is connected. And it's so important to look at it from that angle and puzzle everything together and realize that if we pull this lever, it's going to affect this lever.
Welcome to Life Changing Money, a podcast all about one of the most taboo topics in the world, money. I'm your host, Barbara Strehan, and we're going behind the scenes on business owners' journeys to money, success, and wealth. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to the Life Changing Money podcast. I am so excited to have Sierra Muecke on the podcast. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We've just been hanging out all week.
I know. It's been such a fun week and truly, I feel like life-changing. I'm going into next year feeling so inspired and feel like I've met so many amazing, incredible people. So excited.
We're talking about Minted Wealth Live. She was an amazing sponsor. I'll get into your booth because I thought it was so good. But first, I need a little bit of background. So you own your own financial planning business, but I'm sure you have something in the background. Did you work for a company before?
Yes. Yeah. And my story is honestly similar to your background. Just my childhood, a fun fact about me, I grew up in a school bus.
Oh my
gosh. Dad converted a school bus into a motorhome, and we did the hippie traveling around the Pacific Northwest lifestyle. So it was a lot of fun, but also very financially challenging at times. We struggled just to put food on the table and a very unhealthy relationship with money. So it was so empowering to hear your story. And it was very similar to me being a young girl and having a really strong ambition to just secure a better future for myself and do something differently. So put myself through college and wanted to understand money better just for myself. I just wanted to understand business, and I didn't really studying finance. I didn't really want to do anything with it as a career because it's so technical and all behind a computer screen.
A little boring, guys. It's a little boring.
So boring. And honestly, studying finance in college, I had never heard about wealth management, financial planning. Even in school, they didn't.
You mean you didn't have that in your school bus?
Didn't have it in my school bus. Didn't have it in college. And they didn't teach actual everyday wealth strategies. It was all just stock market, which is a huge part of what we do. And it's important. But I still didn't really even know that was a career. So I got my finance degree just for myself, and being a woman in finance, okay, this is the security that I felt I needed. But I also double majored and got my degree in psychology too, because I really wanted to help people.
What a great pair.
And I didn't even know. And that's where it's such a God thing.
Wow.
Because it really was exactly the two backgrounds that I needed when I found out about financial planning. And started right out of college at a firm. So in love with the idea of helping other people do exactly what I was trying to do and just create wealth for their families and do things differently and figure out how money works in the world. And very quickly found out that the industry is, unfortunately, a lot of it is about serving the already wealthy.
Yeah.
And about sales. And I just didn't love what I was finding. So, it gave me my background and it taught me a lot of what I needed to know. But very early on, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to start my own firm. I'm going to make it a different place. And it's been, really exciting journey. But I loved hearing about your story and your background. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many parallels.
It's also just more proof that you can literally change your life at any moment.
Yes.
It's just a decision.
Yes, absolutely. And to your point of people think it's so hard or so untouchable building wealth for themselves, and it's not. It can be easy. You do have to put in the work.
So you were working at a firm. What was the conversation like with yourself, or were you with your husband at this time?
I had a little bit of a journey where I had my own solo practice within kind of a shared firm. So I had my own book of clients, which helped that transition a lot. And in 3 years ago, we just had our 3-year anniversary. I went fully on my own. And that's where Alex, my husband, was really encouraging of going out and building like the brand and really fully investing and believing in myself. And that was hard because I feel like we do all kind of get the imposter syndrome of like, can I really do this on my own? Am I ready? Have I done this long enough? I also was very nervous that people are going to look at me as like a solo advisor and not want to work with just me. They would want that team. And that is my goal, is to build out a really strong team. I love what you've built. And that's what we're hoping for. We have a solid team right now, but hoping to expand. But I was nervous to take the leap, and it really was encouragement from him saying you can do this and believe in yourself, and him believing in me that helped a lot.
Was it a strict like quit W-2, start business? Or did you have like a layout, like an overlap?
I never was W-2. My whole, right out of college, I went 100% commission revenue to 99.
Oh, wow.
So I never knew.
Bad for taxes.
Yeah.
So what have been some of your money mindset hurdles?
First part of my journey was all about that like determined little girl, like proving herself in the world, trying to make money, be successful, try to do it all. And then I got there and I started making really good money and had a lot of success on paper. And, I was accomplishing all of the goals that I had. And I realized like I wasn't happy internally. And that was a big one for me. That was a huge year where I just broke down. And it was a big moment for me with my relationship with God and my faith too, because I realized like I was putting everything into just building this career, and what was it really about? So I really kind of shifted at that kind of breaking point to realize like, what is wealth really? What is it for?
Mm-hmm.
And that became a big part of Infinite Heights too, is helping other people, and especially women, realize like, we need to find the balance, because yes, we want to be successful. We want to build wealth. We want to do all the things that we absolutely can do. And we should believe in ourselves and have all the tools to do that. But also we need to enjoy the time that we have here, because we don't know how long we have.
Mm-hmm.
We need to realize what's so important to us in our life. Like, what are we using the wealth for? And also know like when it's okay, when's enough. Psychology of money that says like the true definition of success is getting the goalpost to stop moving. And it's a hard balance, because we have to have the goalpost initially to get there. And I think that's so much of what we do, is like finding that balance.
Goals are so funny because you feel like when you hit the goal, you're going to be happy. And then you get the goal and you're like, well, shit, that didn't make me happy. Yeah. And then you realize, wait, I am happiness. Yeah. Like it's actually just you. But people try their whole life to like become happy, and they blame money because of it.
Yes. Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah. And money is not bad. You get the other side of it where people will look at that and say like having goals or having ambition or working really hard, like they'll make that seem negative or make money seem like it's evil or it can be evil. And it's like, money allows us to do a lot of what makes us happy. And it is such a powerful tool, and we do need to use it wisely. And ambition is amazing. But yeah, it's like figuring out, again, where do we stop and where do we draw the line, and how do we get to a point where we can have it all.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I love with my mastermind, like people join to grow and scale their businesses. Like that's kind of, I always say like, that's how I get them. But then they get in the mastermind and we do these retreats where like they'll come and do breath work and sound baths and spinal energetics. And like, I joke, like I fuck them up, because I'm like, really, it's their mindset. And like, that's why they're unhappy. It has nothing to do with like a shitty business or not having the money. And so like mindset is so important. Yeah. But if I feel like, this is probably a limiting belief, but I feel like if I led with, oh, you just have to change your mindset, people wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
And so probably the same with financial planning. It's like selling financial planning, and they think they need this goal and like to build wealth. But then really what you're doing is fixing their money mindset so that they can build wealth.
Yes, absolutely. And I think like the tangible things of how I'm able to help people with that is just being able to like really see their future laid out for them. And visually, we have tools to kind of look at like their wealth if they're able. And we start with them kind of laying out what their vision for their life really is, what their big picture goal is. I call it their Infinite Heights vision. It's what's that big thing that they're after, and how do they picture themselves living their life in 10 years when they finally made it?
Mm-hmm.
to them. And then being able to show them that, like, this is what they need to do to have all of those things, to live the life that they want, to be able to afford the luxury vacations, to send their kids to private school, to create generational wealth, but show them that, like, there is an end in sight and there is a way to accomplish all of that. I think it gives them that, like, relief of, like, okay, there's not just work forever and continue to build, build, build. It's like, well, I know what I'm doing it for.
What did your family think about you going into wealth management?
I think in the beginning, they didn't really, again, like, I never even knew that it was a career. I don't think they knew that it was a career. So I think initially they were always very supportive, but didn't really know what it meant. And now it's been really fun to see the family just really encourage me and get behind me and get behind what I'm doing. So, yeah.
Have you like given them some strategies? You're like, you need to do this.
It's definitely a challenging one because I've tried really hard to work with them on changing their money mindset. And it's been a good reminder for me for, like, clients. You can give the people the tools and the education. And at the end of the day, like, they have to be the ones to make the change and make the decisions in their own life. And so it's been really difficult because I think there is, like, a lot of money trauma in their lives, and it's been really hard to break. And so they really try, and I really tried. We've gotten to that point too where, like, they always still joke, like, you're our retirement plan, you're just going to take care of us. I'm like, oh, well, that might just have to be one of my financial goals.
Yeah. At Minted Wealth Live, I talked a lot about, like, money loves conversation and money loves community.
Yeah.
What are some of the strategies that you love implementing for your clients?
It just really depends on where they're at and what they're missing. I love being able to kind of finally connect the dots for clients. I feel like a lot of business owners too feel like they have all of these different strategies in their life, but they feel like they don't know for sure. They don't feel confident that it's all working together. And it was a big part of why I started Infinite Heights too, and working with business owners. I feel like there's a lot of advisors who do personal wealth, and there's advisors on the business side who manage business finances. And that there really felt like there was a disconnect between somebody who could come in and say, like, I understand that you as a business owner, you are the business and everything is connected. And it's so important to look at it from that angle and kind of puzzle everything together and realize that if we pull this lever, it's going to affect this lever. And so I think for me, it's just like really listening to what they need, what's missing, what's going to help them the most and give them the security, and then figuring out how it all puzzles together and then showing them that visually of, like, here's what we're building, and seeing that relief for them.
What are some of the things you invest in?
I really do try to, perhaps to preach, I try to do whatever I'm telling my clients to do in our own life as well. But we have an Airbnb, love the short-term rental strategy. We love to get into more real estate. So funny. I think a lot of times we like the, like, sexy investments, and it's often just the boring strategies that are really important, especially as a business owner, because we have so much risk just in the business and often aren't diversified just naturally because we put so much of ourselves into building the business. So I think for a lot of us, it really does come down to the basics and just making sure we have diversification. I am a big fan of investing in individual stocks versus using low cost ETFs. That's like an easy one if you're not working with an advisor. But if you are paying an advisor, you can get into individual stocks and have a lot more control, especially on a taxable account. I think it's really important with taxable accounts to have individual stocks because you can tax loss harvest to a much bigger scale and have more opportunity with things like borrowing from your stocks. So yeah, diversification, real estate, alternative investing, having exposure across the board.
What are your thoughts on crypto?
I think it's good. It's good to have. I think you don't want to sit on the sidelines of something like crypto. I think at the same time, it's also about diversification and just making sure each individual person is comfortable with what they're investing in. I've had a lot of conversations this week. I had a conversation with one gal that I was like, it's great to look at that as your fun money account.
Yeah.
And it, at the end of the day, is probably going to make you, like we were looking at, millions. But start small. If you're really that nervous, just start small and put in something that you would be comfortable losing. And she's like, Yeah, $0. I just absolutely, I am not comfortable if I
Yeah.
lost $1. And then we were talking about like parallels to gambling. And she's like, well, actually, I love gambling. And I go to the casino and
Oh, how funny.
I would easily put in like, $300, $500, nothing crazy, but I'd be comfortable with that. And I'm like, start there, maybe do that monthly. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, I like to look at like, let's not gamble with your goals that are really important to you, your retirement, but we should have a portion of our overall allocation invested in things that are most likely going to be the wave of the future. So
I'm curious what your like money conversations are with your husband. Do you have like a meeting like you would with a client with your
yes,
husband?
when we first met, it was so funny because I was really nervous to like bring up money and not, we talked about money right away, but like recommend things for him. I felt like I didn't want to like, I just had never experienced it before. I do it for a living. I talk to people all the time about their money and what they should be doing with it and making recommendations. And I was so nervous. So when we finally got to that point, I feel also God's timing in that because I finally got to the point where I was like, we have to buy a house. And it was kind of crazy because we weren't even engaged yet. But I was telling all of my clients, like, interest rates are going up. If you're planning on buying, you need to do it now. And we were right on the cusp. And we finally had that conversation. I'm like, this is a little crazy, but we knew right away that we were like end game timing, like hadn't happened yet, but we knew. So we were like, we need to buy a house. And he works for Nike. So he has a lot of concentrated Nike stock. And I was so nervous to tell him to sell it. But that's what I would tell all my clients is like, if you work for a company, you are very already exposed to that company and you should absolutely be diversifying when you have a chance to exercise any of your options.
Yeah.
So I finally had the conversation and we diversified out of his Nike stock and we bought a home, secured a 3% interest rate, and then Nike stock has just plummeted ever since.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Was like a little bit of that divine timing, but it worked out very well that we were finally able to come in and like fix what was going on with him. And anyway, to your question now, we really try to, I tell all my clients to do money dates, is what I call them. And
same monthly money date.
Yes, monthly money dates. Put them on the calendar for a year in advance and make it a priority. And I tell my clients to celebrate it too, like have whatever they feel guilty about with money. If it's getting like massages monthly, get the massage if you successfully did your money date together. Do a money date with yourself too. You don't have to have a partner, but carving out intentional time to like treat it like a business, talk to each other, review the finances, set like tasks for ourselves too. We always have like to-do lists after our money dates, and then we come back together and are like, okay, did we do what we said we were going to do for the month?
I'm curious, selfishly, what your husband thought of Minted Wealth Live, because we don't have a ton of W-2 people that attend. So did he have any takeaways from the event?
Yes. And you and I talked about, I'm hoping that at some point in our future, he will come in to support the business full time. He supports the business a lot as it is right now, but he still has a full-time job, so he can only lean in so much. And he's a director at Nike. So he's very busy. So I'm always like nudging him, and he came away very inspired. So I feel like we're really moving in the right direction. He met a lot, and that was so encouraging for me, of husband and wife teams who are working in the business together. So that was really exciting.
I loved your booth. Do you want to tell them about it and like what inspired you?
Yeah, I was so excited about it. I had a Dear Future Self board and had everyone write themselves a letter that we will mail to them for them to open in a year from now. To just remind them of their intentions and how far they did come over a year. I think a lot of times we can get really hard on ourselves with business goals when you look back. And I think we all need to be reminded of like, no, look at what you have done and look at where you were and what mindset you were in a year ago. So I'm really excited about it.
Well, thank you so much for investing in our vision and our movement. Like we could not do Minted without sponsors. So I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. It was amazing to sponsor and support an event that is all about helping empower people to believe in themselves and create more wealth and talk about money. Also still a topic that people don't often want to spend time on. And it was so encouraging to see everyone there sharing openly about where their businesses are at, what they want for themselves, and just ask the questions that they're often scared to ask. So thank you for putting this on and doing this and changing so many people's lives.
Oh, I received that. Where can people find you and like how can they book a call with you?
Yes, infiniteheights.com, our website, and you can follow us on Infinite Heights Financial.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Life Changing Money. Don't forget to subscribe, and I would love if you left a review and shared it with your friends. See you next time.